years and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Welcome in to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all your favorite social media platforms where we're very easy to find. If you search Picks and Parlays, we're usually the first thing that pops up. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me every day on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger is my handle. Today is Friday, October the 4th, and we are right in the thick of one of the best times of the year for sports and sports betting. We've got postseason baseball, we've got NFL, and we've got college football along with the start of hockey season. First segment, we're talking baseball and Monday Night Football for next week with Tony T, including that Nats-Dodgers game, which is the late game today. We've got 4 baseball games on today. The Astros lead 4-0 in the 5th against the Rays in Game 1 of the ALDS. And then last night, of course, we had some really thrilling ones between the Cardinals and the Braves and the Nats and the Dodgers. The Dodgers taking a commanding 1-game lead over the Nationals with that dominant performance, 6-0 win in LA. Meanwhile, the Cardinals-Braves game was the only game that I think has hit the over in all of these baseball games so far. We've seen relatively low-scoring affairs in 3 of the 4 games that have already been played, not including this afternoon slate. Getting back to football, our second segment of the day, we're diving into college football. We've got a lot to get to. I'm out of breath already. It's a busy time of year. We've got Boston College, Louisville, Air Force, Nevada, Navy, Northwestern, Nebraska. And then finally, our NFL Rapid Fire segment where we cover a lot of NFL games. We give a lot of winners. Joe D'Amico's here, Craig Trapp's here, Chip Chirimbes is here. They're all here in studio today. It's going to be a great show. And I'm really excited to talk about some of these NFL games because now we've got a substantial amount of info on these teams. And some of these teams, you know what? We're finding out who's the pretenders and who's the contenders. And we've got lots of good info to dive into on today's show. After the break, we're starting off with baseball and Monday Night Football. After the break on Picks and Parlays.
Hey, Mike, how's the house coming along?
Needs a ton of work. The pipes are leaking. Needs a new roof. The AC just broke. I just don't have time to do it all myself. You know anyone?
Oh, just ask Home Advisor. They match you with the best local pros for any home project.
Cool.
Yeah, you can read reviews and book appointments online.
What's it cost?
Actually, Home Advisor is always free to use.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
I'm a lawn guy and proud of it. Pro tip, watch the fall leaves. When that first bad boy drops, boom, get feeding and seeding with Scott's. Lay down Scott's Turf Builder today, and come spring, your lawn will be so thick, green, and strong, neighbors like Steve over there will be mad green with envy.
Hey, sweet lawn, Stevie.
Steve.
Don't be a Steve. Be a lawn guy. Pick up a bag of Scott's Turf Builder today. This is a Scott's Yard.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you search Picks and Parlays, we're usually the first thing that pops up. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger. Right now, let's dive into some baseball with Tony T. Hello, Tony. Has this postseason been exciting enough for you so far?
So far, it's been exciting. Some good wild card games. And, of course, that Atlanta Brave game yesterday was pretty exciting. And watching this game this afternoon, big fifth inning for the Astros. Altuve, a 2-run home run, then Lowe drops a pop-up, and 2 more runs come across. So big fifth inning for the Astros, up 4-0. I let Glasnow look really sharp for Tampa Bay, but gave up that 2-run homer. He goes to the pen. They come in with the relief corps, and they add some base runners, and then Error pushes across 2 more innings. So the Astros off to a good start, Chelsea.
Unfortunately, errors have been a storyline of this postseason, and you hate to see it, but it's been the deciding factor in some of these games. So, I mean, hopefully just for watching purposes, that doesn't continue. But last night, the Nationals and Dodgers, we saw 2 errors from the Nationals in that game. And otherwise, the Dodgers were dominant. A 6-0 win in Game 1 of that NLDS series in LA. So let's dive into Game 2. It's slated for tonight. And I'm just wondering if the Nationals can come back after that, dominating performance by the Dodgers last night, where the Nationals offense was held to 0 runs, 2 hits, and 13 strikeouts. What a performance by Walker Buehler last night. And especially the bullpen as well. You can't forget them. They did their job. Tonight it's Clayton Kershaw going against Steven Strasburg. First thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the one thing with the win last night, they didn't have to bring in Jensen in the game. They're up 6-0, as you mentioned, Chelsea. Only 2 hits for the Nationals. Dodgers got 6 runs. Did strike out 12 times, though, in that game. And Corbin really wasn't sharp. 5 walks, I think, really hurt as well. But here we're looking at the Dodgers and Nationals in game number 2. Starts an hour later here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern start. LA favorite here, about $1.55 or higher in some places. Total 7.5. But I'm going to look here to go under 7.5, Chelsea. Clayton Kershaw, he's going for the LA. He's pitched well at home, 10-2 record, 2.89 ERA, low WHIP, and his on-base rate is 84%, which means he doesn't allow many base runners to come across. But one thing I'm looking here is that the National starter, Steven Strasburg, I think he's coming off his best season, really good form. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 8 of his past 10 starts. And, of course, he's pitched well against the Dodgers, facing them twice this season, allowing 3 runs over 13 innings. And his strikeout rate is 30%, whip of 1.04. I think we're looking here at a pitching duel, Chelsea, and I think Strasburg can go at least 7 in this one.
Well, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to Clayton Kershaw, and that is the postseason. Clayton Kershaw, of course, has been great in the regular season, but in the postseason, he's 9-10 with a 4.32 ERA and 30 games of work. Do you see that being a factor tonight? And do you think he gets over the hump here tonight, especially since he does have a Dodgers lineup behind him that's able to score runs early and often?
Couple of things here. He's had trouble against the Cardinals, and he's not facing the Cardinals here. He's facing the Nationals bats with a high strikeout rate we saw yesterday. And another thing, too, I think the pressure's a little off him since LA has the 1-0 lead. Kershaw has always been under pressure spots in that game one situation, and he's had issues there with giving up base runners, walking. I think he's a little under control now, knowing the LA has that 1-0 lead, and I do believe he should be all right in this game. He's pitched well at home. His record's good. His strand rate has been his second best in his career. I think he's got the confidence, Chelsea, of pitching well this season.
Speaking of confidence, it seems like this season, especially in the postseason, we've seen pitchers nibbling at the strike zone. Yeah. And you can tell that these balls are juiced and there's something going on when it comes to all these home runs. And you almost see it when you see these pitchers throw. Last night we saw the Nationals walking a lot of batters. Do you see that being a factor for Kershaw or Strasburg in this one? The fact that walks might be a factor because everyone's so afraid to give up the long ball.
Kershaw, because he has that really effective curve that really and changeup that really fools batters. When that curve is on, he's unhittable. One thing about Strasburg, 30% strikeout rate. His whip is just 1.04. But here's what I like about Strasburg. He's only throwing his fastball 48% of the time. He throws a changeup 20%. And when you have good control and you're facing a power lineup and you can change speeds, and which I like against these power lineups is changing speeds. You get those power hitters in front of pitches. Chelsea, you've seen it before. It takes a lot of confidence away from the power hitters, and it gets in their heads when you face a power pitcher who can change speeds and make you look foolish there at the plate.
Right, and we talk about postseason stats. Steven Strasburg has been dominant. He has a .41 ERA, 28 strikeouts in just 22 innings of work. He is coming off limited rest. He came out of the bullpen with that wild card game where, the Nationals needed him. So it's hard for me not to say that the Nationals are struggling a little bit. Last night, they just looked low energy. Do you think they bounce back a little bit better tonight with maybe a day under their belt and that travel not being a factor?
Yeah, remember they had won like 9 straight after they beat Milwaukee. So they might gotta feel good about themselves here. But it's a different situation, different playoff here against the Dodgers. And I think they feel that this is probably their best pitcher. I know Scherzer's been good, but let's face it, his ERA has almost been 5 since he's come off the DL. But I think they have to feel good about their chances in this game with Strasburg. I think as I said, I think Strasburg's the type of pitcher that can give this lineup some trouble with his ability to change speeds and still have control. And another thing here, Chelsea, what I like about the under here, it's been trending here under. Dodger home games in the playoffs have gone under in 9 of 10, and Nationals have gone under in 9 of 13. And of course, I think this points to an under here in this one.
Right. I think 3 of 4 postseason games so far have hit the under. The lone exception being that Cardinals Braves game was the only high-scoring game we've really seen. And despite the Dodgers scoring 6 runs last night, the Nationals didn't score any. So let's move on to the Browns and the 49ers. This is the Monday Night Football game for next week. The 49ers favored in this one by 4. Total sits at 46.5. Initial thoughts on this one?
Yeah, big news here first is wide receiver for the Browns, Jarvis Landry, out of concussion protocol. He's back at practice, so expect to see him here in this game. Of course, the Browns coming off that really good performance against the Browns, 40-20 against the Ravens, 40-24. And one thing they did is they utilized their ground attack with Nick Chubb's 165 yards. They get that ground game going. That only means Baker Mayfield's going to be more effective. And we've seen that with Mayfield, 342 yards in that win against the Ravens, and his release time. He's being clocked. They clock him now for release times. We were critical of Mayfield holding the ball too long, but his release times has started to show improvement. He's getting the ball out, and of course that avoids trouble and hits. And of course, you're getting 4 here, and that means the 49ers, if they're up 10, you got to worry about that backdoor cover. And Mayfield, I think he's the type of guy that never gives up. That's one thing I like about taking points with Mayfield, because he's not going to give up, Chelsea. He's going to try every second there is on that clock.
Right. You mentioned the run game, and that was something that the Browns really needed to get going. Nick Chubb finally going off in that last game for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. But this week, they'll be facing the best front 4, according to Freddie Kitchens, that the Browns have faced all season. Dee Ford, Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, and Eric Armstead. So the pass rush is going to be especially strong for the 49ers in this one. Do you see the 49ers defense being a factor against the Browns in this one?
I think it can be, but one thing I noticed here with the 49ers series, you look at their competition they've beaten. I don't think it's been really strong. The Buccaneers, they've beaten the Bengals and the Steelers, who were using Steelers using their backup for the first time. And one thing with backups, it's like the NBA is that the backups play better at home than they do on the road. And of course, the Buccaneers were sort of a mess in that first game, and the Bengals have just looked bad. And I think also you got to factor in the strength of competition. I don't think the 49ers have seen, well, they saw a good offense in the Buccaneers, but they weren't organized in that week 1 game. That week 1 is more like a preseason game. But I think here with the weapons Mayfield has, I think this is obviously might be the best quarterback they're seeing here in Mayfield. And one thing to do when you have a good rush is you kind of you throw the ball outside, get the ball off really quick, and that frustrates a front four. And I think Kitchens understands that. He was a former quarterback himself. He knows, look, when you get that pass rush, let's get the ball off quick. Let's get it to the receivers. Let's go outside the tackle and play action. If it works, you'll slow down that pass rush. And I think this definitely can be overcome here by the Browns. So you like the Browns in this one? I like the Browns plus the 4 points. If you've got the 49ers and you're laying 4 and it's an 8-point deficit, 9-point, 10-point deficit, if the Browns have the ball, Mayfield's not going to give up. Right. All right. That's our NFL and MLB picks from Tony T. We're back after the break with more football on Picks and Parlays.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube if you want to tune in that way. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger, and let's get to some college football because we've got a ton of games to talk about. We've got Chip Chirimbes in the studio to give us some winners.
Well, the college football season had a little change at the top this week, Chelsea. I mean, Alabama's been dropped from the top spot. Actually, Alabama moved into the top spot once again.
Well, because Clemson did not look good against North Carolina. They almost lost to North Carolina. And they certainly didn't cover.
I'm wondering how often Clemson is going to sleepwalk through games knowing the kind of schedule they have, where they really don't have to get up for any big-time opponents until the playoffs start.
But the problem is they need to look dominant in all of those games because they're not playing the best of opponents. So when they are trying to impress the committee to get those top 4 spots, granted, they get a lot of credit, but still, they need to look dominant.
You know why I don't think it matters all that much is because it doesn't matter if they're 1, 2, 3, or 4. That first playoff game is a neutral game at a neutral site. It isn't like you're gaining a home court or home field advantage.
They should move to that. I would love to see some home games, but it's all about the money. So.
It'd be kind of difficult to set it up in time, and it's not feasible. Actually, I think to get these people there in 1 week, whereas they know that they're going to be playing at the Rose Bowl or at the Orange Bowl in a specific game, and it gives the alumni a chance to spend a few days, I guess, in a warm weather city. I think one of the first games you should go to is in the ACC here. It's
let's start off with Boston College and Louisville. Louisville is favored in this one, -5. Total sits at 61. And guess what? Scott Satterfield's crew, they already have 2 wins, which is already tied for last season's win total. Louisville was 2-10 last season. So already the Cardinals are looking a lot better this season. Boston College, meanwhile, is 3-2, but they've lost 2 of their last 3, including that terrible loss to Kansas in which they were favored by 20 points.
Imagine that. It happens, though, and you have to go out there and play the game. You just don't hand you victories. This Louisville team, like you said, it only won 2 games last year. And, Lamar Jackson effects, he's gone. This team and the Eagles, Boston College, have similar offenses. They both like to control the ball on the ground. They move the ball pretty well. Boston College has done very well in conference, going 13-3-1. They're averaging 472 yards a game, 438 on the ground. Now, last year, Chelsea, when these 2 teams played, Boston College ran the ball for 252 yards, and their top back, Dillon, was out.
I was going to say, A.J. Dillon wasn't even playing
He wasn't even playing. And Louisville has some issues here at quarterbacking. Juwan Pass is out, and Malik Cunningham got injured at the end of the game last week. But they do rush for 225 yards a game.
Right, they're dual-threat quarterbacks. I think the issue for the quarterbacks at Louisville has been their completion percentage. They have not been very accurate with some of their passing. And it's hard to stop those dual-threat quarterbacks, as we saw in that Notre Dame game. It was surprising that Louisville was moving the chains.
Well, when you have to look at 2 different factors of a team moving the ball, a dual-threat quarterback like here, and like I said, at Arizona, when we have Khalil Tate, those guys are hard to defend. If they can run, Heisman Trophy winners end up being quarterbacks that are runners.
Right, and Boston College has a dual threat as well. Anthony Brown, he's good at throwing the deep ball too, which is especially potent when you have a good run attack. So it's a little bit of that option, I would say. But he was picked off twice in last week's loss. So accuracy is a factor for him as well.
I think the Achilles heel for both these squads is their quarterbacking. And, this Louisville squad is 0-7 in their last 7 conference games. So I was surprised.
Last year they were very bad.
Right. And
very bad.
That's against the points. Usually you can at least get a cover involved in there. But they opened up a rather strong favorite in my mind here, and the action has gone toward toward Boston College. I think Louisville may surprise people here. Boston College, we've seen losing to Kansas at home, is vulnerable.
Right. You mentioned that rush attack of A.J. Dillon, one of the better running backs in the entire ACC. The good news is he's rushed for 150 yards in each of his last 3 games. The bad news is that they've lost 2 of 3 of those, so it hasn't seemed to matter.
No, somebody has to make a tackle somewhere and play defense, and they certainly didn't do that against Kansas.
So you like Louisville in this one?
I would take Louisville. Just it isn't a game that I would step out on, of course. They're a favorite. It's dropped down. It just seems illogical to me that they would be as strong a favorite as they are after what we've seen.
All right, let's move on to Air Force Navy. Air Force is 3-1, 2-2 against the spread. Navy 2-1 and 2-1 against the spread, I believe. Last season, Air Force won this one 35-7. Air Force favored in this one, -3.5. Total sits at 46. How are we seeing this one line up?
Well, 10 days ago, we were all very impressed by Navy in the first half. We saw them against Memphis. They took a lead, and they were getting 11 points. They ended up falling down in the second half. Memphis has just too many guns and too much strength. But we saw a lot. I saw a lot out of that Navy. Now, this team is averaging 457 yards a game. 345 Chelsea are on the ground.
I was going to say, it's even more impressive when you run a triple option type offense.
And it's a misnomer to call the Air Force the Falcons or the Flyboys because they have a 440-yard offense as well, and they run for 330 yards.
Right, they're the wingless birds.
Yes,
they should be the ostriches.
Well, these two teams, their styles are so similar.
Right. Well, they're service academies.
And the thing is, they're not in the same conference. They're not in conferences. And what happens is the home team in this series has dominated 5 out of the last 6 winners for the home team. Maybe coming off that Memphis loss, I think they've had a lot of time to savor and wait for the Air Force here. The Falcons, though, in non-conference, are 21-5 against the spread. And, this Navy team has struggled against the Mountain West Conference, 0-4 in their last 4. But I'm telling you here, this is a revenge game. This is a service academy game. I think that Navy gets the edge here, particularly after the way I saw them battle against Memphis and really hung in there as best they could. I think Navy comes up big here, and this game should come down to, who knows, it may go overtime, Chelsea. It should be a great battle between two similar styles and two teams that are probably on the same skill level.
So do you like the total at all in this one?
It's very high. Well, 46, I was thinking about it, Chelsea, and I was thinking that 2 running games, 2 running teams, that it probably would bog them down. And one of the other things about it is that Navy is actually 4th in the nation, only allowing 84 yards on the ground per game. So maybe the way to go would be under here with this number at 46.
Even though last year was 35-7, so it's tinkering around there. Yeah. But as you mentioned, it seems like the defense is a little better, at least on one side this year.
Well, it's these two teams, when they get to go head-to-head, it's just it's great to see, and they bring tears in my eyes, believe it or not. Oh, they do.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of pride involved when it comes to service academies.
Yes, there is.
Let's move on to Northwestern and Nebraska. Nebraska favored in this one, -7.5. Total sits at 49. Northwestern is 1-3, 1-3 against the spread. Nebraska, is 3-2, 1-4 against the spread. Northwestern and Nebraska, of course, facing off with big-time opponents last week. Northwestern, yeah, I'd say they looked a little more impressive. They held Wisconsin to just 24 points last week, and 2 of those were defensive touchdowns, so that says even more about this Northwestern defense. So how do we see this one lining up?
Well, Nebraska last week was one of my big failures on one of my absolutely horrible Saturday, and everybody here had a joyous day with Ohio State. But Northwestern was an early bird winner against Wisconsin. They played really tough. But Chelsea, this is the only way they can win is defensively. They're 1-3 straight up, 1-3 against the numbers. They have quarterback issues. They had to come in now with Hunter Johnson. They have 11 turnovers on the season. And that's really not good with a team that doesn't have much offense. Now, a team like Nebraska is supposed to have some great offense, and they haven't shown much of it. They have 14 turnovers on the year.
I was about to say turnovers have been the problem for Nebraska, and it's really frustrating to watch, I would assume, for Nebraska fans, because some of these games that they were supposed to win, they've lost. Against Colorado, I remember that game. It was a 30-year-old kicker from Colorado.
Well, that was one of our fortunate wins earlier in the season. But the Nebraska quarterback, Adrian Martinez, who's averaged over 300 yards total offense per game coming into last week's game against Ohio State, had 128 total yards. And I think they're going to make a big adjustment this week.
Well, I mean, you'd hope so. Scott Frost certainly hopes so.
Oh, my goodness. Nebraska, they've really expected a lot more out of him than what they've gotten so far.
And he's one of those guys that have gotten a lot of hype, and I think it just comes with the territory when you're a quarterback of a team like Nebraska, which, they're supposed to be back at some point.
He's going to get more time, I imagine, than Harbaugh right now, who's struggling, coming off that huge win over hapless Rutgers.
Well,
what did they do this week against Iowa in a Big Ten game?
I know. Hype is a funny thing. Some people deserve it, some people don't, and then some people just flounder when they get the chance.
So many people get caught up in it. They actually start believing their own headlines and going out there and not, without the understanding that you have to prove it on the field. You have to do it day in and day out on the field against an opponent.
All right, so let's circle back to this game. A lot of these have been close games. Northwestern and Nebraska, 6 of the past 8 meetings have been decided by less than 10 points, and the past 2 have gone to overtime. How does that affect looking at this spread that's more than a touchdown?
Well, that's the point that given here is that how could, in my mind, Nebraska be such a heavy favorite, considering the way they got pounded last week, 49-3, considering the improvement by Northwestern. Remember, Northwestern, their opening game lost to Stanford, where they actually dominated play, and they fumbled the ball at the end of the game. And, yeah, that was, unless you had Stanford.
That was a bad beat for people on the other side.
It was. And Northwestern, that was... the kind of season that they've had so far. They just haven't been able to move the ball. And without the quarterback and their style of play, I think their games are going to stay under the total, but I think they're going to struggle here overall. This is a big place for the Cornhuskers. I think Nebraska really has to respond here.
Right. So we touched on the total a little bit. It's 49. You like the under at all?
I think the under would be the way to go here because I think it's the only shot Northwestern has in the game is to keep it to keep it low. They can't get into a shootout with the Cornhuskers.
No, certainly not. Looking at these score totals.
Right.
But yeah, I will say Nebraska's loss to Ohio State. You might take that with a grain of salt because Ohio State's been so good, but they've had some other bad losses. And so Nebraska's got to prove something.
I always like teams that come off humiliating losses.
All right, we've got to wrap up our college football talk. Thanks, Chip, for joining us. We're back after the break with NFL Rapid Fire on Picks and Parlays.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Hey, travelers. Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. all of your favorite social media platforms. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger, and right now we're diving into NFL Rapid Fire. We've got Craig Trapp joining us. We've got Joe D'Amico on the end because he's really loud. He's got his purple on today.
I always have to make sure I look good. I have to be, I'm not worried about Craig, but I have to be on camera with you, Chelsea, and you're always stunning.
Well, I will take that compliment. Let's dive into some of these games, starting with the Ravens. You've got the purple on, Joe. Ravens-Steelers. Ravens favored in this one at -3.5. Total sits at 44. Ravens come in 2-2. Steelers 1-3. Joe, we'll start with you. Do you like the Ravens and your purple?
Well, I'll tell you what. I always like purple. I look good in every color, sports fans. But I want you to know this is a game that I think is very interesting. Both rivals. You know, Baltimore on paper, I think it's a better team. But games aren't played on paper. The line goes 3.5. If this line is a 3, I like Baltimore. Pittsburgh, I'm going to tell you guys something, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but that's okay. It's not the first, certainly it won't be the last time. I think the Pittsburgh offense is a better offense with Mason Rudolph at the helm. He doesn't make the same mistakes Ben Roethlisberger makes. He's got a little bit better of feet. Hell, I got a couch at home that has better feet than Ben Roethlisberger. But I want you to know this is a very tough game. Depending on the line you get, I would either fade the favorite, fade the dog, either way. I think there are better games on the board, but I do want people to know this week, picks and parlays, Craig, I have 5 big college football winners on Saturday, 4 big pro winners as of now, and I am putting them up late Friday because I know of certain games going to move in my favor, and that's where my information comes into play for you guys, where we get an extra half a point or a point going into the weekend. Last Saturday, Craig, my games of the month went 3-1. Sunday, I fell off, but as a champion, I come back this week. Craig, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
This one's a tough one because these two always play tight. They just don't like each other. They play hard-hitting football historically. But, you know, this Ravens team, we thought their defense was going to be really good this year. Hasn't been so good. They gave up 40 to Cleveland last week, 33 the week before that. So I think there's a little something to prove here. But I just think there's going to be a lot more points than what people think. I'm going to take the over 44 here, and what I think is going to be a tight matchup. I think this one's going to come right down to the end, and I wouldn't doubt if this line's at 3.5, if it falls at 3, as the Ravens win by 3 is what I'm kind of thinking.
Right. Traditionally, these teams have had really good defenses, but as you mentioned, the Ravens this year have been giving up points right and left, so it doesn't look like one of those traditional games for this AFC North matchup. Let's move on to the Patriots and the Redskins. The Redskins are 0-4 and trying to avoid a dumpster fire down in D.C. Meanwhile, the Patriots are smooth sailing, 4-0, and they're favored by 15 in this one. Total sits at 42. Joe, do you think the Patriots can cover that big number?
Well, Chelsea, Craig, sports fans, this is going to be one of my big totals this game, but I do want to talk about the side. I want you to know I'm not crazy about laying double digits in the NFL with anybody, but if you can do it with anybody, it is the New England Patriots. Make no mistake of it. They are the best team, not just in the AFC, in football. All right, we'll touch base later on in Kansas City. I'll tell you what I think about them. If you play Washington in this game, you're going to have to go through 3 or 4 bottles of Pepto-Bismol because you will be cringing the entire game. If you play this game, you've got to play the Patriots. I think there are better games on the board. If I play this game, I play the favorite because the Patriots are the best team in football.
Well, we thought Haskins was going to get the start here, but now recent news came out McCoy's going to get the start here. Talking about a mismatch. Anytime you're facing a future Hall of Famer with McCoy or Haskins would be a problem. But I'm going to take the Patriots here at like Joe said. New England is not a team that usually lays it on like late, but I could see after last week where they did not play good the second half that they do in this one. So let's take New England minus the 15 and what I think is one of the uglier mismatches of the week.
Right. I don't think the mismatch is the quarterbacks. I think the mismatch is this Patriots defense against Colt McCoy. Because, yeah, Tom Brady is a Hall of Famer and probably the best quarterback of our lifetime, maybe the entire NFL. But the Patriots defense has been really good this year.
Washington's defense has been really bad. They're giving up over 30 points a game. And I could see a lot of people probably being on the over, a lot of parlay bettors being on New England and the over in this one.
Right, because 42 is a low number.
It's a low number, but the Redskins...
Can the Washington Redskins score on this team?
New England might have to score them all themselves.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Jaguars and the Panthers. The Panthers are favored in this one, -3.5. Total sits at 40. That's a really low number, and probably because this is the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Granted, Gardner Minshew for the Jaguars has not looked like a backup quarterback. He's been threading the needle. Been fantastic late in games for the Jaguars. Panthers are going to go with Kyle Allen, who is a backup, but you know what? He's looked pretty good in backup relief of Cam Newton. How are we leaning on this one, Joe?
Well, Chelsea, you mentioned Gardner Minshew. People don't realize Gardner Minshew broke all sorts of records in the Pac-12 when he played college ball. They got him for a steal. They don't pay a lot of money for him. He is a good backup. I don't think the the Jacksonville Jaguars will not win the Super Bowl. But when you look at value, I feel the Jaguars, through certain situations this season, offer a lot of value and will get the bettors paid. And this isn't about who's better. This isn't about who wins. This is about who covers. Remember, it's money in your pocket if you cover the game. And I'll tell you what, with a line of 3.5, I've got to take the 3.5, especially that hook with the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I don't like Carolina. I think there's talent. Not that I think there is talent on this team. They just can't put it together. I think their head coach is in trouble by the end of the season if they don't start putting some W's on the board.
Well, it just comes down to hopefully they don't switch back to Cam Newton, because Kyle Allen has been avoiding the turnovers and hitting open receivers, which Cam Newton was not. I think the Jaguars and Panthers battle of the backups is going to be a really good game. Although I don't think a lot of people out there will want to watch it. But I do think you're right. I think the Jaguars are the play at the 3.5. I think the Jaguars probably win outright. I think they have the better of the two defenses, and I think Gardner Minshew is a superstar in
the making.
I think he's already there.
Well, in his own mind, he's already there. I mean, if you've seen some of the outfits,
people love
he's already
him.
there.
People love the mustache. They love the Uncle Rico. Yeah,
he's a lot of fun to watch. For a football fan,
Well, he threads the needle.
He's a real good quarterback.
He hasn't had
good.
to throw it down the field yet, though, and that's where I think to make him, you have to take away the short passing. We saw him do it at Washington State. We saw him do it so far. Can he be Aaron Rodgers and throw the ball down the field?
I think he's thrown it down the field a few times.
A few, but
I'm going to disagree with you.
He doesn't have the arm strength that we've known to like in our on the top level quarterbacks. But short passing, which is what they've made this offense about right now around him, he's been able to take advantage of it. I think he does it again here. I like him at +3.5.
Right. There's plenty of quarterbacks in the NFL that can't make those short passes.
No,
so, I mean,
right.
the Jags got a nice find.
I'm a Bengals fan. Andy Dalton.
Are they still in the NFL, or did they move up north to the CFL?
Monday night, I think that was it. That's it. I'm done. I even bet Pittsburgh, and I'm still done.
All right, well, let's move on to the Falcons and the Texans. The Falcons are one of those teams that fans are probably very frustrated as well. They're one of those teams that have a lot of talent, but somehow it has not translated to wins. They're 1-3 and 1-3 against the spread. This week against the Texans are favored by 4. Total sits at 50. Joe, who do you like in this one?
Well, my NFL sources are saying Dan Quinn is going to be gone within a matter of weeks. He will be the first head coach gone for the season. There is talent on this Atlanta Falcons team, however, on both sides of the ball. However, they just can't string together. Forget about several good performances. Just give me one good performance. I think Houston has what it takes. I think there's talent on both sides of the ball. I think they too will underachieve in the long run. But if I had to play this game, I would lay the 4.5 with Houston. They're the better team on paper and on the field.
Well, Atlanta is the biggest disappointment in my book. I thought Atlanta could win that division. Heck, now I don't think they can win 5 games. I think they lose again this week. I think it's going to be ugly. They've not been good on the road, 0-2, straight up and against the spread. Houston hasn't been great against the spread at home, 0-2. But I do think you'll see this week this Houston defense come up with some big turnovers, and I just don't see Atlanta turning around here. Let's lay the wood with the home.
Wow,
home
2 in
favorite.
a row, me and Greg.
Happens.
We're all getting along. Like
a broken clock is right twice a day, folks.
Oh, my gosh. All right, let's go to the Broncos and the Chargers, who, you know what, a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Nothing has been going right for the Broncos. They're 0-4. The Chargers are favored in this one, -6. Total sits at 44.5. Who do we like in this one?
Chelsea, Craig, sports fans, I'll tell you what. In his entire collegiate and professional career, and even in the front office, John Elway has never been on the hot seat like he is right now. He put this team together. They are horrible. The coach didn't make any difference. Their defense, which was good over the last several seasons, Let's face it, they're not pulling their job. And on top of the fact that it doesn't help that their offense is so bad that the defense is spending a little extra time on the field. They're getting tired come the second half. The Chargers can score points. They will score points. They're laying under a touchdown here. Under a touch. As long as this is under 7, and I think it's 6.5 as of taping. Guys, I got to lay the 6.5 with the Chargers here. I just think they're a better team on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I see some 6s out there, so if you're shopping the line around, it's even better. But to me, it's hard to have a lot of confidence, even with Phillip Rivers and the Chargers this year. They haven't been great. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to improve off of last year where they came on late. Haven't really seen it. But I do think you're right. I mean, you can't have any confidence in Denver's offense. Joe Flacco, it hasn't mattered. It didn't matter who the quarterback was. They just don't – they haven't been good. Like you said, since Elway has got rid of or Manning retired, he hasn't been able to find the next heir apparent there at quarterback. I don't think Joe Flacco's the heir apparent.
No.
And I would lay the points,
yeah.
but I would say under.
No.
I would say under here. Under 44.5. I think Denver will be lucky to score 16, 17 points. I think this one's a clear underplay. I just can't see this one getting above even like 40 in the total points area.
It should be interesting to see if Melvin Gordon makes a difference in this one because he should play this week after that long holdout. But we know running backs coming off a holdout. He's probably going to be limited if he does play. Let's move on to the Packers and the Cowboys. A big marquee matchup here. Cowboys favored 3.5. Total sits at 47. Who do we like, Joe?
Well, guys, before I go into this game, I want to make a disclaimer. I am a Cowboys fan. A few weeks ago, I went against them. All right, I'm a genius, fine. Dallas, first several games of the season, undefeated. Who do they play? I think at the time, a collective like 1-8, 1-9 teams. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. The difference is, and I think that this year, we don't see a lot of great teams as of yet. So they're looking very, very good. Here's the deal. Green Bay, for years, we keep hearing, well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a running game. He doesn't have a defense. That 1970s porn star looking quarterback, I'm going to tell you right now, he finds a way to win. And this is a big rivalry game. Big quarterbacks bring it up big. Dak lost it last week. He couldn't score when they ran into a Saints team who is a good team. I think they're going to have problems here. At 3.5, there's no doubt in my mind, I take the dog here.
Well, we're finally going to disagree here.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. The reason here is Dallas is at home. Dallas is undefeated at home this year, undefeated against the spread at home. I think they continue that, make it 3-0 against the spread and straight up at home. I think Dallas defense is one of the best. Last week, it wasn't the defense that cost them. They did not score points. They're much better. I think Zeke will have no problem getting some yards and scoring in the red zone. That's going to be the difference in this game, being able to score in the red zone versus kicking field goals. I'm going to take the Cowboys minus 3.5. I'm going to wait until game time. I'm hoping that this slides back to 3, but I will take the Cowboys 3.5 and go against Joe.
All right, time is running out, so we've got to go quick. Okay. Colts, Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 11 in this one. Total sits at 56. Joe.
Well, Chelsea, the Kansas City Chiefs are a very good team, but their defense, come on, they're easy to score on them. My high school prom date. Laying 11 points with this team against an Indianapolis team who isn't afraid of them, with a quarterback who's making Indianapolis Colts fans say, Andrew who? I'll tell you right now, I'll take 11 with the Colts.
I think you take the over in this one. It's a little square play, I know, but Kansas City, their defense hasn't stopped many people all this year. The Oakland Raiders were the only team they stopped. I think me and Joe could do a good job.
Absolutely.
So let's take the over 56. I think both of these teams score 28 plus in this one, and what will be a good game. I do think I would take the double-digit underdog as well if I was on the side.
And a couple health updates. T.Y. Hilton and Marlon Mack are both questionable for this game, but they have been at practice. So if they are in this game, a nice side for the over in this one because T.Y. Hilton, as we know, good off the deep ball.
Yeah, I think, and against this terrible defense,
right,
will help.
Oh, it's ugly. I told you this defense is easier than my high school prom date, and she was easy. You know who you are.
I was wondering if he was going to sneak in one more quip before the break.
I couldn't resist.
All right, that's our NFL rapid fire segment. With Joe and Craig. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio, recapping all of today's picks. Stay with us.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
We paid less for our Craftmatic today than we did 20 years ago.
If you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and free information on today's Craftmatic adjustable beds. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Rated #1 by consumers nationwide on consumeraffairs.com. Craftmatic beds come in all mattress types, including cool gel memory foam for up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, poor circulation, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. You'll sleep better in a Craftmatic adjustable bed. So if you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and information. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Discover Craftmatic for less, up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand.
Call 1-800-371-9608. That's 1-800-371-9608. Call 1-800-371-9608. Call now.
Are you an active stock market investor? Well, then you know these 3 key words: buy, sell, hold. Those 3 magic words can make or lose you money in the stock market. What if we can show you a time-tested tool that's been helping stock market investors succeed for over 30 years? It's called VectorVest, an amazing system designed to make smart investing easy. The VectorVest system analyzes, sorts, and ranks over 19,000 stocks every day and tells you when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell any stock to maximize your profits in less than 10 minutes a day. And if you call right now, you can test drive our amazing VectorVest system risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95.
800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. That's 800-584-2519.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as we do every weekday, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me every day on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger is my handle. Today was a busy show, jam-packed with all kinds of information and all sorts of fun stuff when it came to football and baseball. And don't worry, if you're just now tuning in, we've got you covered because we're about to go over all of our picks from today's show, starting with Tony T, who gave us a pick for tonight's Nationals-Dodgers game. Take the under 7.5 runs, and the Monday night game for football, Browns at 49ers. He's taking the Browns at +4. Moving on to Chip Chirimbes and some college football picks. Boston College, Louisville. He is taking Louisville at -6. Air Force, Navy, taking Navy at +3.5. And then Northwestern, Nebraska, take Nebraska -7. Moving on to our NFL rapid fire picks. Craig Trapp giving us these picks. Falcons, Texans, taking the Texans -4. Packers, Cowboys, taking the under at 47. And Colts, Chiefs, take the over at 56. And then Joe D'Amico gave us some NFL picks as well. Jags and Panthers taking the Jags +3.5. Broncos, Chargers taking the Chargers -6.5. And Packers, Cowboys, he is taking the Cowboys -3.5. And I am always winded after that rapid fire segment, because there's so many games that we have to get to, because it's such a busy time of year where we have football, both college, NFL, and postseason baseball. I'm really looking forward to this Nationals-Dodgers matchup to see if Clayton Kershaw can get that postseason monkey off his back and if he can really perform well for this Dodgers squad that's already been really dominant. They won Game 1 6-0. So can they do it again against the Nationals and take a commanding 2-game series lead? We'll see tonight in more postseason baseball. We're back next week. Thanks for joining us on Picks and Parlays Radio. Bet, win, repeat. See you next week.